Oh, and we are here tonight, and welcome to Blacks in the Burbs. I am Colette. I am your New Jersey Burbie, and it is February. It is Black History Month, and I have been waiting a very long time to chat with the young lady that you see with me today here. I want to ask you guys to give a big hello to Cathy Shannon. She is the marketing director. Did I get that right?
You did. You did.
Yay! She is the marketing director of EandS Gallery, which is an art gallery in Kentucky, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Louisville, Kentucky.
In Louisville, Kentucky. How are you, Cathy?
I am well. I am well. I'm learning new technology and it's always
Just,
exciting.
isn't it always fun? I feel like more of us, like in our generation, need to be
Mhm.
on social media more.
I
And it's
agree.
always such a challenge because I think a lot of us kind of like are afraid to take that leap. So I really appreciate you coming on because first of all, you're gorgeous. So the
Oh,
world
thank
needs to
you.
see you. Social media needs to see you, okay? That's the first thing. And second of all, it's amazing how many people you touch when you get on there and people see things.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, again, Kathy has a lot of experience with art, particularly African American art. And because it's Black History Month, I thought the timing was great. And she actually suggested it. I thought it was amazing. The timing is perfect for us to start basically just showcasing some of the top Black artists that are available now for Burbies like us to buy for our home. I mean, I have this one beautiful picture here of me and my husband, but we're going on 10 years now. So I feel like I know I love this picture, but I would love to replace it, get a nice little art piece in there, and then I could put that one in another spot in the house. But
I
art
can
has
hook you
oh,
up.
what that? You can hook me
I
up.
can hook you up.
Perfect, perfect.
We're here. I can see you. You can hear me. And I'm sipping on my favorite thing. This is a Kroger. I don't know if you have Kroger in New York, but it's called Simple Truth. It's a vapor distilled water. And I think I shared with you earlier that I do a water fast, and this is all that I drink pretty
And
much.
that's amazing. So you eat, but you just drink all water for the entire month.
Well, no, when I do the water fast, I drink only water. But
Nothing. You don't
now,
eat anything.
no, no, you don't eat anything.
Wow.
But after the second day, third day, you're not hungry and your body starts just doing some amazing stuff. When you take digestion out of the process, it allows your body to heal, throw off toxins, and it's the best sleep you'll ever have. So
Wow. Okay. I'm going to give it a try. I don't know. Like 20 days. How many days have you been doing it now?
the longest I did was 21. My husband and I both did 7 back in June, but I kind of start the first of the year because I'm a sugar fanatic, caffeine, red wine. That was white Chardonnay. So now my system is clean, except I'm back on the caffeine. I just gotta have it. This career puts you in front of different people.
Yeah.
Um, I've had customers that have been with us for 20 years and they may have started with one image, our layaway allowed them to pay for it over a year or two. But
Oh, wow.
it's the same, whether it's a celebrity or a first time art buyer. When you get a piece that really speaks to you and you enjoy it on your wall every day, it's like, what better job is that? To
Amazing.
have made that happen for someone.
Yeah.
So
I mean, because just the stories alone are amazing that you have like you could actually write a book about your
you know what?
experiences. Yeah. Yeah.
We could collaborate. You've got the insight to it. So yeah.
Absolutely. I can totally see that as one of those like visual books that have the art with it and the story alongside of it. That would be so
That is a
dope.
great idea.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, I could talk to you forever. I do want to share with everyone some other information, some other pieces, some of the art that you had sent to me earlier so that we can really give them an idea of like
Good.
some of the best artists that they can look at and purchase. And, you can really kind of guide us through this process. I don't know if you see my screen here.
Mm-hmm. I do.
This is gorgeous, and I see it's behind you in your room.
Yes, it is. That is The Hands That Pick Cotton by Ed Dwight. And it's such a visually stunning piece because of what it represents. You
Yeah.
have two hands that are holding two cotton plants. So they are literally transitioning from picking cotton, and then there's two hands holding the cotton, and then the third hand is a hand with a cuff on it, like a shirt, and they're putting a ballot. That hand is putting a ballot in a box. That is, and we're looking at it from the back, but from the front, you will see a plaque that actually says, "The hands that pick cotton now cast their ballot." Because
Oh,
that piece was inspired, Ed Dwight was inspired to create that piece based on a poster that was placed in places where people were registering to vote for the very first time back in the late 60s and early 70s.
mhm.
And this artist, Ed Dwight, he was the first African American admitted into the NASA space program by John F. Kennedy.
Wow.
And his story is so interesting. He's done a myriad of things, but the art and sculpture, he was a fighter pilot. He was an engineer. He did real estate development. But art and sculpture is what really spoke to him and what he stuck with. And as a result, he's had over 200 national monuments. But he said that poster from the late 1960s, early 70s was an image that he always wanted to recreate. And that is probably one of his best-selling pieces. It's an amazing piece.
It's so stunning. It's absolutely beautiful.
It's one of our favorites.
Yeah.
And Jacob Lawrence.
Mm.
You know, I tell people there would be no Western United States had it not been for the images that Jacob Lawrence created. Well, no, I won't say that. Had it not been for the subject of the images that Jacob Lawrence created when he painted the Toussaint Louverture series.
Yes.
Toussaint Louverture, the Haitian revolutionary leader
Yes.
that defeated Napoleon and prevented him from enslaving the Haitians and using the proceeds from the sale of sugarcane to develop the Western US. When General Toussaint defeated Napoleon, he basically gave up half of the US, sold it to Thomas Jefferson, and the rest is history. But the fact that Jacob Lawrence created the original paintings for this series in 1939, when there was no BET, black media to tell the story of General Toussaint, is remarkable in itself. These images, he created 39 paintings. He selected 15 of those images to actually tell the story of General Toussaint. And you will see these hand-pulled seriographs in major museum collections.
Mhm.
They are part of the Phillips collection, and they will tour the country right alongside the originals for this. So historically, it's a good thing that it's called Black History Month so that you encompass our Caribbean brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna say, is Jacob Lawrence of Haitian descent?
no, he was actually born in your home state in New Jersey.
Wow. I mean, the way
And
he captured the
yes,
whole experience of the Haitian Revolution is amazing to me.
it is, you
Yeah.
know, too. And the tactics that General Toussaint used are still being taught in military schools today.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a beautiful series,
That is
beautiful
beautiful.
story.
Okay.
Kevin Williams. Most people know Kevin by the name he painted under for years, which was his initials backwards, WAK, WAC.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
if you Google art by WAC, everybody, every African American in America probably has one of his prints. You know, the ladies under the hair dryer
Yep.
standing appointment. He was so popular that he said he would release a print and he could go to the store or the shopping mall in a month and see many prints of it because so many people were knocking off his work as wax. So now he does his historical images. Most of what he does now, he researches. When you see one of the pieces, for instance, that's called Stain, it's the maid. She's cleaning a stain on the floor that's actually in her mind. And when you zoom in to the image, you'll see that stain is actually the hull of a slave ship. After the movie The Help, when that came out, that's when he produced that image, because you don't know a person's story. And most of the people in that era that are responsible for us being here, nobody stopped to question, well, how's your day? They didn't really look at The Help, but when she looks at that stain, she knows what she's doing, why she's doing what she's doing. It's so her children won't have to do that. And she's remembering, if her ancestors made it through that, there's nothing that she can't do.
Amazing, amazing. I noticed he did quite a few pieces on Muhammad Ali.
Yes,
Did
yes.
he have a fascination with him, or was there some kind of a relationship there?
There is the utmost respect for Ali by Kevin and a lot of artists, Leroy Campbell, another artist we
Mm,
represent, that
I knew him. I met him once. He's awesome.
he is phenomenal. If you come to the Harlem Fine Arts Show this coming weekend, you'll
Yeah.
see him again.
Okay.
But the fact that he stood for something when it was, he faced prison because his principles were that strong.
Mm,
And he was a champ in the boxing ring. He was a champ on the world stage. To go from someone that is that was so vilified for not wanting to fight in the war, and people changing and seeing, hey, well, this guy had it right all the time. So
yeah.
he was an amazing guy. I grew up as a baby. He lived a couple of doors down from us. We
Oh.
lived at 3214 Grand, and the house he lived on Grand is still there. It's a pink shotgun house.
Hmm.
And a story related to him, in the second grade, my second grade teacher was his second grade teacher. So I'm sitting in class, second grader, and this guy walks in the room, and all the little boys are like, Cassius Clay, Cassius Clay. And I'm like, I had no idea who he was. But
Okay.
his wife was in full Muslim um, dress with her head wrapped in a long blue gown. And I'm like, I don't know who that guy is. I just know he's the guy escorting this princess. And, a few years
That's
later,
beautiful.
well, maybe about 15, 20 years later, I was grown and he was at an event I was at, and I recounted that story to him. And
Hmm.
he was like, what was my name? And I told him, I said, Cassius Clay. He's like, yeah, that's right. Because he knew,
Right.
if I would have said Muhammad Ali, that wouldn't have,
Right.
he knew if
Right.
he hadn't changed his name then. So,
That's
yeah,
nice.
but that's it. Kevin
Kevin A.
loves
Williams.
him. Great, great collector. And
Yes.
the Harriet Tubman piece that he did, if you have a
Yeah.
chance to look at that,
Beautiful.
the quote in it is just stunning, because she says, I had made up my mind pretty much that I had a right to one of two things: life or liberty. If I couldn't have one, I would have the other. For no man, and it's just, when you hear that commitment and that dedication, and you see the image, you see the families that she helped to
Yeah.
free standing behind her, and that quote and that determination, it's like, okay, what could we be that committed for?
Amazing. So if I come this weekend, I'm looking for that piece right there. Because when I tell you nothing grabbed me like that piece, I want that piece.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, Kevin will be there.
Okay, awesome. So I will
Yeah,
catch up with Kevin.
and that is, now we're looking at work by Ed Hamilton, who is a Louisville sculptor. And Ed has national monuments, all of the pieces that he has, for instance, um, the Amistad piece, that is a tribute to Cinque, the
Yeah.
slave that led the revolt. And the actual memorial is in New Haven, Connecticut. It's about a 12-foot bronze. On one side, it's a three-sided sculpture, so it kind of looks like a pyramid in a column. So on one side, you've got an image of Cinque as he was as a slave being taken from his country, but he's not in shackles. He's standing there because he had a life before he was stolen.
Mm.
On the other side is a picture of him arguing his case in court. He was represented by I want to say the AFL, CLU, that labor union
Yes.
before it was what it was now.
Okay.
But they took his case to the Supreme Court, and he's arguing or presenting his case, testifying, and you can see the Supreme Court justices behind him. And he was the first African to testify before the Supreme Court. He won his case. He
Okay.
spoke out 2 years. On the third image, it shows him actually speaking out against slavery before going back to Africa.
Wow.
The other piece by Ed Hamilton is called The Spirit of Freedom. It's the Civil War Memorial, a tribute to the African Americans that fought in the Civil War. So you have the soldiers standing on this curved bronze sculpture, which is in Washington, D.C., located at 10th and U Street. Above their heads you'll see this female image, and it's like an angel following them into battle. It's the spirit of freedom leading them. And when you look on the back of that curved sculpture, you'll see the soldiers on the front of it with their rifles, and it's curved out. They're moving forward. On the back, you'll see the families that they left behind, or the soldiers
Oh, wow.
that they're going into battle for. So it's a very striking image.
You.
York, another piece that he did. York was a slave that actually led Lewis and Clark on their expedition to the West. There were many areas that they would not have been permitted to pass because the Indians didn't respect the white man, but they respected York. They actually called him Big Medicine because he was a big figure, and he was a gentle figure. He communicated with them, they respected him, and most of the time they wouldn't talk to the white guys, they would talk to him.
Mm.
And so it's a very interesting story. And that piece is actually installed on the waterfront in Louisville, Kentucky, where Lewis and Clark launched their expedition across the river in Clark County, Indiana.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay. And Frederick Douglass, is that Frederick Laird Douglass? Or is
Yes, that is Frederick Douglass. That is a piece that Ed created when he was being considered for a piece that I think they ended up going with another sculpture, but that piece shows a young Frederick Douglass, and he's standing. In his hand, there's a copy of his paper, The North Star.
Mm.
And he wanted to capture Frederick as he was as a young, determined, um, committed young man,
Mm.
because a lot of the images that you see, he has this beard, he's this noble older gentleman.
Yeah.
And he had that spirit, that sense of what's right at a young age. So that was why he captured it,
Beautiful.
why he did it at that age. If you look at the different national monuments that Ed has, he did the Booker T. Washington Monument at Hampton University. If you go to Detroit, he did the image of Joe Louis and Joe Louis Arena. There's just so many. He's the first African American to have a sculpture in Washington, D.C. with the Civil War Memorial. So he's
Beautiful.
just an amazing artist, because it gives you an opportunity to own a piece of a national monument.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea too. I never really thought about it because I think that I didn't know that there was an African American man who actually had such great monuments. So this is
Yeah.
really eye opening for me. So, I put together a couple of questions, and I mean, these are just some questions that you can answer or just, help
Hmm.
some people out with. But when you're shopping for art for your home, there's certain things
Yes.
that, could really help out if you just had a good idea from the right person on what to
Yeah.
buy.
When you look at art for high places, ceiling, like the two-story foyers,
Mm,
the best kind of art to hang is something that's not going to be, overly framed, not unless you're going to have some professional installers come. So for those areas, we recommend either stretched canvas,
mm,
original work, or decorative work, or
mhm,
better yet, an oversized quilt.
mhm,
Our foyer has a two-story entrance, and we have in that space a quilt by a Brooklyn artist, Myra Brown Green. She's phenomenal.
mhm.
So, and best positioning, you, the one mistake that people make is trying to put a piece that's too small in too big a space.
Okay.
Our whole thing is, don't try to fill it up with one piece. Just look for something that you like to go next to it. So
Okay.
if you are able to center it on a higher area, then do that.
Okay.
Best size, best position. And so for high ceiling, look for lightweight pieces.
Okay.
No, you do not have to find studs. What you want to make sure you have when you're hanging artwork is a proper tool for hanging it, and that would be a picture hook. Don't hang a piece of artwork on a nail, because just the engineering design, when you put that weight
Mhm.
onto a nail, there's nothing to support it. A
Yeah, it will
picture
bend.
hook is engineered to take the weight of the artwork along the spine of the hook, so
Yeah.
you don't put the pressure on the drywall, which will give out if you just have a nail sticking in your wall. So
Yeah.
anybody that has artwork hanging like that, just go to Lowe's, Home Depot, anywhere, and
Right.
buy picture hooks.
Mhm.
Best art for low ceilings, the best size is a horizontal piece.
Mm.
If you are going to hang it over a sofa, the mistake we see most people do is to hang the piece too high. And just think about it. Whoever sits on a couch and their head touches the back of the couch? It never happens.
Right.
So you don't need more than 4 to 6 inches
I'm looking at my
behind.
couch now. I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah, I think I got it.
Yeah, because you'll have a piece that's up a foot above the couch, and it's floating too high. Bring it
Bring
down.
it down.
Bring it
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
Best place to place art pieces. I place them where you like to look at it. You
Yeah, I'm
know.
most referring to like the sculptures, like the like what you have behind you.
Yes. Now I
Especially.
tell you, my husband has the best eye for placing sculpture. I'll come in the house, and when we moved here, I'm hanging art everywhere, but he can position pieces. I wonder if I could walk with this and show you.
Hmm.
Probably not. Well, and I know a lot of people are just listening, but we bought this little 6-inch sculpture. He found this piece. It was like a spoon leaning when we were in South Africa. And I'm wondering, where is he going to put that? And he looked around, and the space that he found for it was on like a cabinet. It's like a bookshelf in our living room next to a fireplace. And there's like this one little opening that's like a 4 by 6 space. And he
Mhm.
put it right there. And it looks like it was made for that
Made to be
space. I'm
there.
like, how do you know that?
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah. So the area in our living room that was a bookshelf,
Hmm.
designed to be a bookshelf, he turned that into an area for sculpture,
Oh, nice.
because he's like, nah, I know what I'm going to do with this. So he's just super talented,
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I love people like that, and then I kind of hate them too at the same time. Like, how do
I,
you know how to do that?
I know he's, yeah.
That's
I'm
amazing.
he tells me all the time, I taught you well. And I'm like, no, you didn't. But I'm like, yeah, yeah, you did. You
Yes,
did.
you did. That is amazing. So, the best time to shop for art, that's a question that I'm asking,
Hmm.
particularly like if you have like a huge amount of money and you really want to make that big investment.
Yeah,
I know a lot of times I'll go to like art shows and I'll wait till the last day when the show's at
right.
the end because I feel like they'll be more willing to negotiate then. But is that true? And the big investment piece too, those two questions.
It can be true, but just because it's a good price doesn't mean it's a good piece.
Mm,
And it's all relative. If it's something that, some people enjoy just the challenge of, okay, let's see what I can get this price for. And that's cool because there are some artists that, yeah, if you wait long enough, yeah, you're going to get a good price. But the thing is, if you're really committed to building an art collection, you don't you may not necessarily want to buy that kind of art because if it's not selling,
yeah, it's
is
not
it
worth
is it
it.
going to be worth
Yeah, it doesn't
what
have the
you're
value.
spending?
Yeah,
Yeah. So if it's just the thrill of the bargaining, yeah, go for it.
yeah.
But my my thing, the best time to buy an artist is when you can find a artist that's really hot, really new,
Hmm.
like the one that we've just found, and we'll be sending some. Yeah,
What's his
I'm
name?
trying not to say too much because we are just getting his work in the gallery, but he's such a talented artist, and
Okay.
we feel so blessed to have his work in a piece that may have sold at one price, this month, this year, because he's just coming out. You won't be able to find anything in that price range probably in the next 3 to 6 months because he is
Wow.
that good. He
So now,
is.
how do you know when somebody's new that's going to be really hot? Do we trust Cathy Shannon? Is Cathy Shannon going to give me the
Yes,
insight?
only trust Cathy Shannon.
Okay.
No, no, but seriously, it's if you're a person that's been buying art, you kind of know what you like. You see what friends are collecting. You're watching, the art auctions. If you're looking at, say, P. Diddy, he just bought a piece for 21 million from Kerry James Marshall,
Mm,
Chicago artist, which I'm thrilled that happened because Kerry James Marshall is an amazing artist. He has pieces in an amazing piece in the Crystal Bridges Museum, and he's getting that kind of recognition now, not
okay.
uh, after the fact. So
Wow.
you probably could have bought a Kerry James Marshall 15, 20 years ago for a fraction of
Of the
what
cost.
prices are today. So
Wow.
it's
Okay.
timing it that way.
Gotcha.
And the main way to tell is to Google it. I tell clients all the time, the internet has so leveled the playing field. You don't have to guess, well, is this art worth anything? You can go online, and if you don't find anything on the artist, that may be a sign that, okay, how can I justify the price? You know what I mean? Say
Mhm.
you're looking at um, comparing apples to oranges. You want to know, and ask the artist, if you're looking at a piece and it's $5,000 and you're Googling it and you don't know anything about this artist, ask him, why is this piece that high? He could tell you, well, I've trained and, I've got this, and this, but he ought to be able to justify it. He can't just say,
Right.
well, I saw this guy with 5,000 on his piece,
So I
so
thought I should
I
try
thought I'd sell mine too. Yeah. It's gotta have a reason for it.
Right, right.
So the best time to shop for art, if you have a lot of money, that's always a good time.
Mm,
You If there's a piece and you can't afford it, ask about a layaway plan because most people will do that.
Okay.
And most galleries, most artists, including us, will give you, 10% off. If you're getting 30, 40, 50% off of a piece, it was probably that was the value in the first place. So that's, that's why I say if you get too big of a discount, it was probably overpriced because they're expecting you to ask for a discount.
Got
If
you.
that makes
Got
sense.
you. Okay. Yeah. Always ask for a discount. That sounds fair. I appreciate
Yes,
that.
everybody. Yeah, some artists may be insulted by it, but it don't hurt to ask. I'm gonna ask.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, Cathy, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. I learned a lot tonight, and I hope a lot of our audience has heard and learned a lot. And
I hope so.
there are quite a few art shows going on in February because of Black History Month. So it's perfect timing. Share with
Mhm.
everyone where you're going to be this weekend in the next couple of months and where they can come and talk to you and buy from you.
Okay, we will be in Harlem on Riverside Drive at Riverside Church for the Harlem Fine Art Show. You can go, they have a website, harlemfineartshow.com. Opening night is Thursday, 6 o'clock. There's going to be some phenomenal artists there. You'll probably have 50 different vendors, 40 to 50. You can buy tickets online. It's a good time. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Riverside Church.
Wonderful.
We will be aboard the Tom Joyner cruise. This is the 20th anniversary for that. So it's a fun time. You've
Yeah.
been on it, so you know.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I have been on it. It's a great time.
Yeah.
Great time. I can't believe it's been 20 years already.
It's been 20 years, yeah. And
Congratulations.
so you're looking at a lot of different entertainment. We'll be doing Odyssey show.
Okay.
I'm a member of the Links Incorporated, so we have conferences coming up in Nashville, Austin, New Jersey. We'll be in Delta Sigma Theta sorority. You come there, come by and say hi. EandS Gallery will be there. My husband's been doing that conference probably more than 30 years before I knew him. Yeah, so
Wonderful.
you can join our website email list, and then we can send you information on shows that we do. We will email you when artists come out with new works, if we add new artists, so you can stay on top of trends in art. Follow us
Right.
on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, and
Great. I'm excited because I feel like now I have the ammunition I need to purchase a really good piece. So,
yeah,
and everyone is EandSGallery.com, correct?
that's correct. EandS Gallery.com.
Great, great, great. Well, Cathy, thank you so much. You have a
Thank
great
you.
evening, and everyone, please enjoy your week and take some time to check out the Harlem Fine Art Show on Thursday. Great night, Valentine's night. Walk around and get some art and at least take a look at some. And have a great week, and we will see you again soon. Bye, Cathy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience.
Oh, it was perfectly fine. Trust me, I needed a little patience tonight too. So thank you.
Thank you.
Take
Good
care.
night.
Okay. Good night.